It pains me to say this as somebody who's running a channel that's completely dedicated to music marketing, music promotion, and everything under that umbrella. Who am I kidding? No, it doesn't actually. Most of you aren't really building a music career. There, I said it. Traditional exposure in 2026 is, if we're being completely honest, a lie. Views, likes, comments, they're all cool stuff that make you feel special. The reach that all this is generating is just a commodity, but the retention and identity that you're able to develop from this are actual currencies that will scale your career. Artists like yourself need to begin thinking about moving from a rented attention audience, like we've been talking about, to a career architecture, or you face irrelevance and falling into the pit of artists who never made it, despite having all the talent in the world to be able to do so. With that being said, here's what we're tackling today. Why the old ways of music promotion are officially dead, and why your obsession with quality and virality and trend chasing is actually your biggest bottleneck professionally. I've noticed over the past 4 months on my channel, I've noticed there's been 3 topics that get people reaching for the dislike button and commenting as if I had just ran their dog over with my 4x4. And these 3 topics are AI in music, chasing trends, and the death of virality. So I'm gonna give y'all the perfect clip for you to rip apart and take out of context right here. Chasing trends is leaving you unknown, hoping for virality is leaving you brain dead, and all of that will lead to an AI artist taking your place. There you go. All of it on a platter for you right there. Now that I've given you a reason to hate this, get it out of your system, let's move on and actually get you some real growth. We've been conditioned to believe in this field of dreams fallacy that if you build it, they will come. You think that if you just finish that 4K music video or get that one perfect mix, the industry gates are gonna swing open because those are the 2 things that were holding you back this whole time. Not the lack of identity, not the actual retained audience. No, all that's just supposed to come to you because you're such a great artist, right? You're asking yourself, how do I get more views? When you should be asking, why does no one care that I exist? For your sake, we're gonna look today at why your current promotion is actually just expensive screaming into a void. Before we go any further, every one of you who's hit the dislike button already is probably saying, why do I need to change the way I'm doing things? Why do I need to stop and unlearn all these bad habits? First of all, look at your reach. If you're watching one of my videos, I'm sorry, but chances are you haven't really amounted to anything within your music career yet. Surface level understanding in marketing is failing because you're competing with 120,000 other songs daily. That's right, daily. When I first started, it was 60,000 songs a day. Now it's double that in less than 5 years. In 2026, studio quality is a commodity that anybody can have access to. You can buy this quote-unquote studio quality for $20 a month. Sometimes people are paying even more than that per month and getting completely scammed, let me tell you. Oof. One of my artists that I am friends with, she paid $800 for a mix, and it sounds worse than my first mixes when I started off, so engineers do a better job. Professionalism is no longer a barrier to entry because it's a mask now. You're using high frame rates and expensive plugins to hide the fact that you have no identity as an artist. You're a grade 1 upload artist trying to use the grade 5 strategist tools, and the math isn't mathing. For those of you who understand that reference, good on you. For those of you who don't understand that reference, that's me referring to the structure of how we teach music marketing in my new school community right now, which if you're curious to learn about, link will be in the description below. Love to see you over there actually growing your career within the next 2 years, tangibly. Honestly, realizing that content is done differently in 2026 and refusing to shift your approach is going to cause you to burn out and fail. Point blank. And if you aren't willing to change, honestly, good riddance. Respectfully, you can get out of the way while the real artists, not you clearly, succeed and make a career for themselves. So let's really start breaking down the fallacies behind all of these 2023 promotional strategies that you're still trying to desperately hold on to in hope of making a way in their career. And let's talk about why you need to abandon them in 2026. First of all, going viral. Virality is actually the worst thing that can happen to somebody who doesn't have a concrete identity yet. I guarantee you there's artists who have had content that has gone viral and have gone on to do absolutely nothing with it. Why? Because a 10 million view spike is a liability in reality when you don't have a career architecture to catch them and actually turn them into fans. Think of it this way. If somebody streaks across a baseball field in the World Series when 10 million people in the United States and maybe another 5 million internationally are watching, that's a person getting in front of 10 to 15 million people. You don't see them making anything out of that. That's what it's like when you go viral as an artist that doesn't have career architecture. You're essentially streaking across a baseball field for 15 seconds of attention, only to be forgotten as soon as the play on field resumes. You're chasing a lottery ticket that you wouldn't even know how to cash, as we said at the top of the video. And you might think that I'm just spewing jealousy-fueled takes because, as you guys are so clear to point out every time I post a YouTube short, I don't have the numbers to give you advice on your music career. Just funny because I've had reels go and do 10, 20, 30, 50, 100K views on my main profile. It's funny because the biggest amount of those views, the content pieces that almost tapped 100K, have led to 0 conversion. They entertain people for a few seconds and then they're off to the next reel. I've spent hundreds, I mean it, hundreds, probably even thousands at this point, spending on content and had nothing come from it in the grand scheme of things, if we're being completely honest with you guys. Investing in one moment is dead, and you will suffer for it. Here's your little tip before we go any further. Spread your budget out among 5, 10, 15 pieces of content and see which ones actually start converting. See which ones are actually the winners. That way you're actually spending smarter versus spending harder. Another thing I want to debunk is people who are bragging about their TikTok followers. And believe me, I see this. I go to an artist on Instagram who I've seen, they have significantly less reach than their TikTok because the second thing in their bio is, oh, 400K on TikTok, 800K on TikTok, 1 million on TikTok. And it's like, cool. You don't own those followers, actually. TikTok owns those followers. You're just a tenant on their platform. And they can change the rent, aka the algorithm, whenever they want. If your fan base vanishes the second the For You page stops pushing you, you've never had a fan base to begin with. I'm sorry, you had rented attention. Real artists are moving towards owned attention, breaking free from the algorithm, creating a fan community that is independent from the way things are being done in the social media realm. Communities, email lists, and direct-to-fan ecosystems where you can control the reach yourself. And yeah, I'll agree with you on this. It can feel like you're being annoying by providing these options to passerby fans, but just having them open and available for people to engage with as you're scaling up will collect a whole lot more people than you're actually aware of. There's a reason why you see some artists posting their IG group chats, join my community, on their posts, or text my number posted somewhere on their profiles. If you aren't creating some sort of conversion method for your fans, you're shooting yourself in the foot. To go even further on this, I know, I'm not done pissing you off yet. Most of you aren't even creating something, you're just imitating something that's already quote-unquote working. You're a grade 2 level copycat, which again, you'd understand how to not be if you were in the community learning how to master music marketing. You see what The Weeknd and Billie Eilish are doing, and you're trying to replicate the result. You buy the same clothes, use the same vocal chains, and wonder why you're just a great value version of a superstar. Yes, you're copying the aesthetic, but you're ignoring the systems that are working behind the scenes that actually made that aesthetic work to begin with. You need to form your artist identity fully. The root of the word performance means to form fully. And you not seeing your artistry, music, and content as a performance, first of all, it means you're not taking your career as seriously because people take performances a lot more serious than sitting in my room recording an endless amount of takes. It's a performance. And it's ultimately killing your career chances. For artists like these, maybe even yourself, it's almost a great thing that you don't have this traction for your career yet. Yeah, I mean you. I wouldn't want to waste my time watching content from an artist who's renting their identity from someone who does it better than you. Honestly, keep being a cheap imitation. It makes people appreciate the real artists who are yet to come a whole lot more. So, yeah, keep it up. Good job. Back in our video about stealing with originality, which I recommend you check out, we broke down the idea of good artists copy, great artists steal. Stealing isn't taking a melody, it's stealing the marketing logic. Don't copy their music video, steal their emotional specificity. Steal how these artists build mystery, steal their release cadence. If you're just polishing a derivative idea, you're making high definition garbage that somebody else is just gonna throw out and go to the source for. By the way, glad I brought this up. The way you do mystery as an artist right now is completely wrong. Your idea of creating mystery is not posting on social media because, for some reason, your easily AI replicated art, your music, is too good to be present on social media and promote. You think you're entitled to success simply because you have studio quality equipment, 100K on TikTok. I make real music with real instruments. Oh, that's a hot one. Oh, brother. That's fine. Keep believing the problem is everybody else, because eventually you'll run out of gas and somebody better will take your place. You can create mystery by being active. Tell pieces of stories, use unique lighting or lack of lighting, and angles that deliberately obscure certain details of your surroundings and setting. Pick the elements that you present meticulously. Use them as lead magnets to generate more interest in what you're building. The person who shows up to work gets paid. The guy who's too good to show up doesn't accomplish anything. Quality over quantity. Now here's another big lie for y'all. As we discussed, you can buy quality at dirt cheap prices nowadays because it's become this easily consumable commodity, like a Big Mac, that people just take for granted because it's just there. It's the standard, you know? It's just how things go. Quality is the excuse that lazy artists often use to hide from working. In 2026, quality isn't your bit rate, it's your messaging intensity. One perfect video every 6 months will lose every single time to a strategist who understands how to post 30 times in a month and build a cohesive world-building narrative and demonstrate that. You aren't a perfectionist, you're just too scared of being ignored and having all your hard work go to waste. But that's part of being in the music industry, guys. Like, that's just the way it goes. To build off of that, this might be the coldest take. I don't think enough of you have heard that you're not that special in the grand scheme of music yet. Because guess what? You aren't that special yet, and you secretly know this, and refuse to be self-aware enough to actually look inward and reflect on this reality. You hide on your burner accounts constantly, clapping back at everyone who tries to give you a wake-up call because you don't actually want to make it, and then clap back at the artists who are actually making it because they're doing all the things that I'm talking about in this video to grow their career. Of course, not to say I gave them those tips, but they're smart enough to realize it, and I'm smart enough to package it up for you guys, so potato, potato. And you do all this lurking behind accounts and just to clap back because you don't actually want to make it and put in all the work and sacrifice required of you to make it. You like the idea of making it. You like the fans, you like the attention, you like the idea of being somebody without having to earn it. When you see someone trying to help you by actually telling you to work on this, or see somebody further ahead of you, you go into your, ew, this sucks, this is trash, bro, unrelease this, bro thought he cooked. All that brain rot that you see in comment sections nowadays from people who've never amounted to anything, even outside of music. The music industry doesn't owe you but you think it does, for some reason. Wake up, either get locked in or locked out. Next, hashtags. Hashtags and playlisting. Ooh, let's get on this. Everything you're doing right now in that regard, the hashtags and playlisting, the hacks, those are all surface level tactics. They're the most basic part of the career. Yes, they're important, but they're not doing anything in the long run in terms of depth for you. The deeper you go, the fewer artists remain, and that's so true when it comes to going further in your music career. Why is this? Because the deep levels that you go into the iceberg of systems and identity, the more you're required to think actually as an artist. Can you do that actually? Most of you would rather just spend $500 on a page that Metro Boomin liked a post of once and a fake promo campaign than 5 hours of actually defining your brand positioning. You might think that I'm like trying to like dunk on you right now, but I'm just fed up with artists asking the same old questions of how to make it. The goal of F1 stays the same, but the rules keep changing. Try to keep playing by the old rules of the music industry and see how far it gets you. Because guess what? Coworker music is winning more than you are. That's right. Everybody's least favorite artists, everybody's least favorite genres, coworker music. It's all winning more than you are right now. I'm sorry. And you have the ego to call it trash. That's the funniest part of all this. All the artists who are hiding on burner accounts and stuff, all y'all have the ego to actually call the stuff that's actually doing numbers trash. It makes you so mad that it's doing better than your real music. Dax, Kill Carl, Sadzilla, Skits Craven, TX2. And in a moment of lucidity, I don't want to actually hate on anyone's art or music, It's just not for me personally. But at the end of the day, at least people know who these people are when they see them on their For You page. It's like, oh, it's this guy again? You know Dax because of his Joker costume. You know Skits Craven because of his big bald head and his weird dark themes. You know Sadzilla because of his banana phone song. You know TX2 because he's ripping off or using some sort of political trend for his own gain. You know Kill Carl because he's dropping like 100 different curse words in the same 15-second clip and literally targeting at you, the viewer. You still know them, you still see them, while you're sitting here completely invisible. Here's one that's gonna get people as well. I say this with all of them, but here's a real one. Your total lifetime streams is a vanity metric. It's ego fuel, it's fodder, it's just window dressing. The only data that actually matters for your survival is repeat audience behavior. What is your save to listener ratio? Are fans creating UGC, user-generated content, with your song? If people aren't using your music to tell their stories, you haven't built a world, you're just providing a 30-second soundtrack for people to scroll past. I've spent 11 years in the dirt here, learning this the hard way, losing money, chasing trends, and waiting to be discovered. I've done all of that. I've been you for many seasons of my life, which is why I can call out all this crap, because I was there as well too, thinking the exact same way. It was a waste of time. You have two choices. You can either do the 11-year trial and error scenic route like I've been doing, or you can spend 2 years locking in, focused, and mastering the system. Repetition is confirmation. If you're still guessing how to release music in 2026, you're choosing to fail. Your brand isn't defined by everybody who likes you. It's defined by who you exclude, who doesn't fit in with your world. If you're trying to make music for everyone still, you're making music for nobody. The most successful artists are polarizing, which I don't like because it kind of feels into everything that's polarizing around us right now, and I'm not a big fan of, but it's the truth. They build worlds that some people love and some people hate. If you're playing it safe so you don't irritate anybody, you've already guaranteed your irrelevance. The sum of all this adds up to what I'm about to say right now. The old promotions are officially dead. The lottery is closed. So how do we proceed as artists? Do you want to keep being the confused builder who's standing outside of the gates, or are you ready to learn the architecture and build your own? If you are, step 1, audit your repeat listener rate. Stop looking at reach. Go into your analytics and find your repeat listener rate and save rate on your distributor analytics. If your save rate is under 6%, your music and or your messaging is fundamentally broken. Stop spending money on ads at that point. Stop promoting. Fix your songwriting and identity fundamentals, because you cannot scale a broken product and expect a return on it. Our second step is to pivot from posting to positioning. Every piece of content you make must answer one question. What world does this invite the viewer into? If it's just a video of you in a studio with the caption "out now," delete it. Wipe it. Get rid of it. Move on from this random branding into niche positioning that we've been discussing in the last few videos. Your content isn't about your song, it's about the identity that your song represents for your listeners. And step 3, do what we did in the last video and kill the rented mindset. Start building your own attention assets today, so you don't have to scramble to build them when you actually start getting traction. I don't care if it's an email list, a Discord, or an SMS list. You need something to reach your top 1,000 fans without an algorithm's position. If you don't have a system to convert a viewer into a member of your world yet, you aren't an artist. You're just a content creator for somebody else's platform. You're working for somebody who has a dream when you think you're working for your own dream. And if you're tired of being a confused builder and you find yourself struggling with a lot of this stuff and are open to actually being critiqued on everything that you're kind of struggling with right now, you need to come over and check out The Curious Artist. We've just added it to our school community for basically free. And I'm sure you can be like, oh, he's just trying to grift to get people to buy his course. Wow, lame. I'm pushing this on you because your music sucks in a generic sense. And you can either improve now or have to full stop everything when it actually matters and you have momentum, just so you can learn how to properly make a song. Unlikely, by the way. You probably don't even know what a bridge is, learning what a DAW is, the most rudimentary things that are entry level for anybody who wants to succeed in the music industry. And now you're sitting here in a studio with an engineer looking like a fool that got lucky and aren't getting an invite back to record anytime soon because you don't know any of the stuff. The truth is this, unfortunately. 99% of you are probably going to keep doing exactly what I told you not to do and doesn't work because it feels productive. But for the 1% of you who are ready to unlearn all the garbage, welcome to the climb. Leave a comment if this annoyed you, pissed you off, if I called out everything that you hold near and dear about your promotion strategy and called it complete garbage, because it means that you needed to hear it. And to really close this off, don't misinterpret my anger for hate, because I want this for y'all badly, because as artists, we're all doing things that we aren't capable of as a group. Our experiences, perspectives, and art are all different from each other, and small artists are the ones that should get a shot ahead of these industry plants that the labels are trying to shove down our throats. I say we're all in this together in every video because it's true. Show up and do the work so we all can get it. We all can get it, but we all have to do it. Shoot, that's all I gotta say, man. Peace.